The May 2018 balance patch is live, and here at Tempo Storm, we're excited to jump right into the first day of the new meta. Lower tier decks made large strides on the ladder in the absence of two dominant decks. A new archetype of Warlock is finding its place in the post-patch meta. Paladin decks that once relied on Call to Arms to dominate the mid-game are nowhere to be seen, struggling to adapt to the new ladder experience. The absence of Quest Rogue gave rise to more control decks fighting for a top spot in the coming tier lists. Even Wild was shaken by the absence of Giant Lock, which didn't survive the nerf to Naga Sea Witch, leaving room for aggro and a new giant archetype in the Wild meta. After 10 hours of playtesting, research, and analysis, we're ready to give you our Day 1 report on the post-patch meta. Not everyone made a smooth adjustment to the new ladder experience, with some players finding Call to Arms nerfed to 5 mana while queuing up. Our mobile players, however, were surprised by an optimized patch to the mobile client that required less space than in past updates. The earliest success story of the day was Meaty in his climb to top 25 on the European server with Shudderwock Shaman. The deck uses Hemet Jungle Hunter to remove non-combo pieces for the late game, guaranteeing the use of Shudderwock once its abilities have been assembled. Savitz took to experimenting with the Hunter class, veering from the mid-range secret and spell archetypes to test the viability of Emerus in a recruit-style deck. Witchwood Grizzly remained a strong addition to this new take on the deck, but was also responsible for an unexpectedly lethal highlight of the Day 1 metagame.
Whatever. I know he's not dead, but it still seems like a pretty okay play. What? Oh my god, what a dude. Healing my guy. GG, dude. Wait, what?
The latest new archetype to join the Hearthstone metagame is Zalae's Evenlock. An early version of this new Warlock build ran a Corpse Taker package that relied on Tainted Zealot and Fell Soul Inquisitor to activate 3 of its 4 buffs, while also providing significant life gain and removal abilities. This package was later scrapped in favor of Plated Beetle, Curse of Weakness, and the Lich King to better synergize with the archetype's control game plan, relying on Mountain Giants and Twilight Drakes and strong removal options to dominate the early game until Blood Reaver Gul'dan can clean up. 6 hours later, Zalae would find greater success with Murloc Paladin, making use of the Serenite Chain Gang and Valenier combo, along with Paladin's strong Murloc package to hold mid-legend. Though we anticipated Murloc Paladin to make a significant return, few players found or shared strong results with the archetype, instead relying on Odd Rogue and Tempo Mage as the apparent leading aggro decks of the new meta as of Day 1. This didn't stop Gallon from making another high legend appearance with Odd Paladin for a second new meta in a row, despite queuing into Dog's Even Warlock later in the evening. In Wild, Druid has become the new Giants deck, using both Aviana and Naga Sea Witch, along with the class's mana ramp ability to reliably make consistent, explosive late-game boards of Giants. The Druid's core allows this new archetype to beat the increasingly popular aggro decks rather easily. Kalento found Taunt Druid to be especially effective in the new meta. While little has changed about the deck's composition or exploitable weaknesses, the pro players' consistent results over the first half of the day inspired other ladder grinders to take to Druid's life gain, card draw, and board dominating combo for fast wins in the new meta. Combo decks like Mind Blast Priest still found a place on the ladder, with Monsanto holding top 200 legend with the additions of Novice Engineer and Life Drinker. The deck's combination of anti-aggro tools, heavy cycling, and combo finisher makes this archetype one of the more likely candidates to become a top-tier deck in the post-patch meta experience. Kyung and Mr. Yagut relied on traditional builds of Miracle Rogue that incorporated mid-range elements such as Hench Clan Thug and Firefly, in combination with the Gadgeton and Leroy package of great cycling and great damage. While Miracle Rogue makes reliable high legend appearances in new metas, it's worth noting that the deck finds overall less play the more established the meta becomes. Whether or not this enduring archetype will make a strong enough impression for next week's meta snapshot is unknown. But if slower Warlock archetypes make a significant reappearance on the ladder, expect to see more saps and eviscerates in the coming weeks. Summer Championship qualifier Killin' All Day also relied on a traditional build, but with Tempo Mage, finding himself with an unexpected Psychic Scream lethal opportunity earlier in the day. With the nerf to Call to Arms and Even Paladin, the aggressive Mage archetype lost one of its most prominent counters, while finding reliable wins against Miracle Rogue, Control Priest, Control Warlock, and Odd Rogue, to list a few mainstay archetypes from the previous meta that find play on day 1. Lastly, Theo was one of several players on the ladder to give Control Warrior a larger return to ladder than we could have anticipated, fatiguing this Q block to return to top 200 legend. The odd Fatigue Warrior archetypes remains the same from last expansion, even with the inclusion of Big Game Hunter when it finds the occasional Sea Giant from Even Shaman, or 8/8 Van Cleef against Miracle Rogue. The deck's armor gain and removal ability puts this control archetype in a strong position against a meta where combo-oriented decks are being revised and optimized for the new ladder experience. Overall, the May balance patch succeeded in making few but significant changes from the Q block and Even Paladin metagame of this expansion. The popularity of Warlock as a targeted class from the patch left us indecisive about its strength as of day 1. Control Warlock made appearances as high as 114 legend, and even pro player aka Wonder ran his own version with Sacrificial Pact, recognizing the likelihood of running into mirror matches and looking to exploit them. This is a tech option that we haven't seen on the Legend ladder since Jaraxxus in the days of Handlock. We're going to need to see a few more days of play to decide how strong Control Lock will be in the post-patch meta, but even with nerfs to Possess Lackey and Dark Pact, few would call the archetype a dead one. As long as control decks remain popular on the Hearthstone ladder and combo decks don't become too pervasive, Rin the First Disciple will loom over the metagame as a slow but devastating threat. A lot can happen to any of these decks mentioned over the next week, updates to which we'll see in the next week's meta snapshot, but for now, the patch succeeded in reducing the power levels of Quest Rogue, Q Block, and Spiteful decks. We look forward to bringing you the latest legendary deck lists in the coming weeks and more content as the post-patch meta settles for the second half of the Witchwood expansion. Feel free to use the deck codes to all of the mentioned decks linked in the description below. We'd like to close out the video by thanking the featured pro players for permission to use their stream footage, and thanking you for watching our day 1 review of the May 2018 post-patch meta. Let us know what decks you came across and what introductions you'd like to see next. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for the latest Tempo Storm news and Hearthstone content.